Hello, guys and girls. This is Justin Cherry, and I am a member of the Orange Team. Today, we're going to discuss my OSHA 300 logs and what we found to be kind of a problem areas with our team. So, we're going to start on the days of the week. As you can see here on Sunday, we have about 40. You get into Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, you generally see our number of occurrences increase. That is because on those days we have the most flights. Those are our busiest days. Typically, people don't generally travel that much on Friday, so we're not seeing much of big occurrences on Friday and Saturdays. Whereas we have our sorry, I got a typo in there. I got two Sundays, but as you can see here, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is really high for us. So that's a problem area that we really need to work on, that we really need to address in that area. You got where it starts to taper down a little bit on Thursday, then we have a big drop on Friday, and it's kind of almost level between Friday and Saturday. Whereas, like I said, Sunday we kind of see it starting to pick back up. Usually those are our busy days too. People are flying in from vacations on Sunday to head home. Here, right here is our monthly total of our near misses. As you can see, in January we had 15. Yeah, February we had 30. March we seen a big uptick of 40, and then we kind of dropped off back around 30 in April. So we're kind of staying around the 30 to 40 near misses a month. It's definitely something we need to work on. As you can see, whenever the temps start to get a little cooler, we really see a decrease in these near misses. Why is that? Could it be the cold weather where people are not as active, they're not moving as fast as they normally would when the weather is a little warmer outside? So these are all things that we have to look at to help us address these situations. Right here we have the number of incidents by time of day. For us, we're really seeing a problem jump up between 7 o'clock and right about 8 o'clock. You usually have people coming to work. You might have the men and women who are getting out of bed. They're not getting up at a decent time and getting themselves to coming to work. They're still a little groggy and sleepy. So we're seeing an uptick in incidents around that time. If you look at 12 o'clock, we basically drop off. Same with 4 o'clock. These are times you normally see when people are either getting off work, they're at lunch. So the number of incidents usually are pretty drastically low. Now, if you look between 12 and 1, we have a big spike there. Why is that? People come back from work, they ate a big meal, and they're just not in the right state of working mind. They start to make they start to make mistakes. They start rushing, and we usually see in a lot of job places you usually see a lot of incidents that happens between those lunch breaks, especially if you have a you get an hour break that really throws you off. So here's our near misses, our recordables, and our first aids. As you can see, for January, February, we were around the 15 mark, and we had one recordable each that month. March, we kind of jumped up about 5 more near misses, had another recordable and a first aid. And then in April, we really shot up to around 40. And this is an area that we have to address. Is it due to April being more of a rainy season where you're getting into kind of like the springtime? So we are working outside and we have adverse conditions. As you see, we carry over into May, June, and July. We have really high numbers, as well as August and September. So what this is telling me is during our summer months, which is usually our travel months, our near misses increase. It's a busy season. A lot of people traveling, a lot of traffic moving in and out, a lot of planes coming in and out. So people tend to work faster. It tends to be crowded. There's a lot more possibilities for these near misses and these recordables. Kind of drop off into October, and we're kind of back around that 20 mark like we are in March. If you look at October, we have another recordable and another first aid, and then November and December we drop down to about 10 near misses and recordables. I mean, we drop down about 10 near misses. It kind of goes back to my other slide where you see November and December also had a very low number. Again, I think this has a lot to do with the time of the year. People generally don't move as fast during these colder months, so we do tend to see a drop in those numbers. Right here we have our group member versus non-member. So our non-members are accounting for about 73% of these near misses, whereas our members are only accounting for about 27%. What that's telling me is we need to focus more on our non-members and what can we do to address that problem? What can we do to, bring these numbers down? We have a big number right here that shows that a lot of these incidents and accidents are happening with our non-members. So that's why we got to implement a program or a strategy to help address that area. So right here we have the type of incidents. We're dealing with a lot of heat exhaustions, heat stresses, heat strokes, and this is because we're working around airplanes. We're working around a lot of equipment. Um, so you're going to deal with a lot of heat. A majority of this work is going to be outside. It's not cost efficient to really have air conditioned hangars for these planes. So a lot of the work that these workers are doing or outside in the elements or even inside around big machinery. So you're going to run into heat issues. Then we have the next one, we have culture. What do we mean by culture, guys? Well, basically I like to say, it's just part of complacency is being in culture. The environment that you work in, you've been doing this job for so long that you kind of get used to it, kind of overlooking things. I like to say whenever we hire new people, we have a fresh set of eyes to kind of help us what we miss because we do. We get complacent. Joe's been doing it for 20 years, never got injured, so he doesn't pay it no mind, and until he gets hurt. The next one is equipment. We have a lot of moving equipment around here, a lot of luggage carriers, a lot of airplane movers. Guys, this can lead to serious issues if you're not careful. When we're coming around corners and blind spots, we need to be sounding our horns. We need to make sure that our blue lights is on. So when we're coming around a blind spot, you can see that blue light on the ground and know that there is moving equipment approaching. This is something that we need to address because that's a really high number of incidents that we're dealing with on these equipments. Then we move on to our next one, which is our ergonomics. Whenever you're working with a lot of luggage and you're working in a fast pace where people are trying to board planes are coming in and out, you got to make sure that you're properly stretched. Guys, we're dealing with a lot of sprains and strains. A lot of it, these are all preventable injuries. But if you don't take the time to make sure your body is ready and prepared for the work, you will find yourself hurt. We got to make sure that whenever you're working, that you do practice the proper ergonomics whenever you're using certain tools and PPE, which leads us into the next one, tool use. We have people who, are taking wrenches and they're using them as hammers because they can't find a hammer, or it's going to take too much time for them to break away from what they're doing to go find a hammer. They want to get it done right away. Guys, this is a problem. If we don't use tools for what their intended purposes are, we will see a high number in these incidents. And that leads me into falls. When you're working on high equipment, whether you're cleaning the plane, refueling the plane, wherever the case may be, if you're up off the ground, you need to make sure that you are using the proper PPE. You need to make sure that you have on your fall protection, because we gotta work on these numbers. We gotta get them down, which moves us into PPE. If you look at our OSHA 30 log, you will see that on there we have a lot of people who are wearing the wrong gloves for the wrong job. Why is that? Does it have to do with time management, or just grabbing the first pair of gloves you see and not caring what they're rated for? This leads into a lot of issues we have, and that leads to burns. You're not wearing the right gloves. If you got on plastic gloves and you're touching something hot, it's going to melt. You're going to burn yourself. So right here we have our occupation incident rate. If you see in January, we had 6.5. Leading up to February, we had 6.5. So kind of had a curve here, and then really peaked in April and kind of starting to drop off. And then, like I said, around November and December, we really see a downtick in these incidents. So right here is our log of work. If you see our down here is listed, we have our 6 recordables on the year. So what we're dealing with is, we have our freezing, our electrical shock, our puncture, physical injury, our crushing and sprains. We have to look at this sheet and we have to ask ourselves, could a lot of these be prevented? What can we do to prevent these recordables from happening? When we're talking about dealing with the lost time off, you look at 45 days here, 15 days there. When we're dealing with lost time like that, that's takes a big hit to our production, and we have to. That's definitely something that we have to address. So looking right here on this page, we're kind of just checking over the different references, and just if you look on this, I believe it didn't port over all of my numbers like it's supposed to. It's showing reference, so that's something that I definitely have to go back and fix. But just looking at the summary of work-related injuries and illnesses here, um, over here we don't have, on your right-hand side on establishment information, we don't have none of that information filled out, which is very important. So we want to make sure when we're filling out these OSHA Form 30s A's or 300 A's, I'm sorry, that we have all the proper information filled out. Right here we're dealing with a HIRA scoring. So if you look at the heat exhaustion, we're dealing with a high number. If you look at the intolerable, we have 8 incidents where somebody suffered a heat stroke or severe heat exhaustion. 8 is 8 too many. That's a number that we definitely got to work on to bring down. Again, culture, like I said, we had one that was intolerable, where employees are getting hurt, passing out, they're dealing with allergic reaction and also chemical burns. Guys, this is something that we definitely got to work on. Equipment. We have to look at this area and see that we had 5 incidents that were intolerable. These are incidents that could have been prevented. We're talking about people not paying attention, where they're backing up, running into other things, coming around corners too fast, and not making sure that the load that they have on their forklift is secure. These first 3 are all things that all of these are things that can kill you, but these first 3 are really important. These are things that can and will kill you or get somebody else killed. if you look at the very end right here, we have fire, which is only 2. But when you're talking about working around jet fuel around airplanes, 1 fire is 1 too many. So the fact that we had 2 fires, that's a problem area that we're gonna have to address, guys. We're gonna do better about that. Um, Whether it's we got to provide more training, or we have to sit down and see what the issue is and why these fires are starting and how we can address them. Again, like I said, there's only 2, but 2 is too many. So you're looking at our near miss of our direct and indirect costs. If you look at the heat exhaustion, you can see that for the direct costs, we're over $1 million, and even in the indirect costs, we're just right above that. You're looking at, for the direct costs, you're looking at 1,619,294, whereas the indirect is $1,781,189. So the total of that is $3,400,480 that it would take the company. So you're looking at, to cover that, we would have to gross $59,374,099 to cover that just for the heat exhaustion. If we jump over to equipment where the stakes are higher in that, you're looking at $157,431,755 to recoup those losses from these indirect and direct costs. Does anybody in here have, an extra $160 million laying around? I sure don't. If we take a look at our recordable direct and indirect cost, electrical shock, that is a big one. And why is that? That's because electrical shock it's a major cost hit to a company. In terms of electrical shock, you're talking about 158,000 direct cost, whereas you have 174,000 indirect. So to recoup those costs, you're looking at your company would have to make $11,075,233 to recoup that. You know how long it would take for that profit? A lot of you guys may think, well, the orange team, they bring in as their multi-billion-dollar company, but we're talking about pure profit. What is the overhead after all the employees are paid, all the bills, the surcharges, all of that's paid? These are all factors that go into this, guys. So when you're looking at this chart, I really need you to take it to heart and pay attention to this, because this doesn't just affect the company, it affects your job. If a company's not making money, what happens, guys? Layoffs come. Yes, layoffs happen, so we got to keep that in mind. Go on to the next slide here. So my root cause, the 5 whys. We're going to cover heat exhaustion. Why? Because that's the main one. We seem to be dealing with a lot of issues when it comes to heat exhaustion. Why? Why is heat stress occurring? Why are their employees experiencing physical discomfort in the workplace? Because the temperatures in the workplace is excessively high. Why? Why is the temperature excessively high in the workplace? Because there is adverse weather conditions and excessive machinery heat. Why? Because it is primary and outside work environment. Why is that? Well, because planes are kept in service in outside hangars. Why? Why can they not be serviced inside? Why can't they all be in air-conditioned hangars? Because of the size of airplanes, cooling an indoor hangar would be very costly. So, would I work for this company? Yes, I would work for this company. A majority of the issues we are seeing here are incidents and injuries that are preventable, with heat-related issues leading the way. We need to make workers more aware of the symptoms of heat stress and exhaustion. By doing so, we can eliminate a majority of those work-related incidents. The Orange Company will need to do a better job at job-related hazard recognitions, as well as training on proper PPE for the task at hand. A lot of near misses were also the result of workers not using the right PPE for the job that they were performing. This is just basic thing, guys, but I see it every day. People not taking precautions. If you get hot, take a break, get you something to drink. You've got to recognize these signs of heat exhaustion because once it gets to a heat stroke, it's too late, guys. There's irreversible damage that can happen, and we don't want that. So, what can we do to help protect our workers? Well, we're going to implement a wellness program. We're going to call this program LIFT. So, what is LIFT? LIFT exists to help employees find the boost they need to become more physical, more mentally and emotionally resilient, and therefore more successful in their job. When paired up with the right wellness team, we set out to create a new internal campaign, a program support presentation, and to lift employees' health scores. So our program goals, guys, is we want you to feel better. So we're gonna offer you lifestyle coaching to help you pick better food, make better choices, provide you with the proper medical care. We're gonna help you for those who smoke or use any type of tobacco products. We're gonna help you quit those. And the biggest thing is that we're gonna help you manage that stress. Believe it or not, stress is one of the biggest killers in America. Stress, it's a silent killer. You may think that it's not doing a lot of damage, but guys, take it from me, it is. So what is LIFT? LIFT is a wellness program to get employees to their wellness destination. Our main focus is getting healthy by eating better, doing physical activities, and providing weight management steps. We offer preventive screenings, work-life integrations, wellness resources, as well as injury prevention. How do we achieve this? Well, by getting support. Getting help you need will be made simple. Each employee will attend the will attend the wellness meeting. In this meeting, we will discuss the various support roles available in the program, such as diabetes, cancer, and pregnancy support. For every employee who signs up for the free program, they will receive additional savings on their paycheck deductions. Every 6 months, employees will be required to schedule a wellness check in order to keep receiving the discounted health insurance premiums on top of what we will already pay. So this will save the employees even more money on their health care. There will also be other rewards and drawings quarterly for those who complete their workout goals. So what that's saying, guys, is if Betty pays $100 a week for her insurance, but the company is going to pay 75% of that. Let's just go with 75. Say that leaves her with the $25 balance. If she signs up for a wellness program, well, guess what? She's going to get additional savings to where she's probably going to be down to paying, $10 or $15 a week. So, and you only have to do these wellness checks twice a year. Go to your doctor, have them bill it as a wellness check, and once the insurance receives it, you'll be marked off. Pending that you don't have any issues that would have to be addressed, and then we have coaches that will work with you on that. So how do we do this? How do we measure this success? Well, each employee who chooses to participate in this optional wellness program would have their healthcare provider bill the visit as a wellness checkup to our insurance. We have a specialized team who will obtain the results of the wellness visit and categorize those into data points where they can be analyzed and studied to identify workplace issues that might be leading to common health issues that we see amongst our workers. All of this data will be collected and will be used to continue to tailor the program to best fit our workers' needs to lift their health to new heights. So what we're going to do, guys, we get these reports back from your wellness checkups. We're going to study them. We're going to analyze them. We're going to make sure that we are giving you guys the best care that we possibly can. If we see a problem area where we have 50 people come in with back related issues and we know there's heavy lifting involved in their job duties, then that's going to be a problem area that we're going to have to address, because we want to make sure that you guys come to work and leave the same way. We want to make sure that you live a long and happy and healthy life. So whatever we got to do, that's what we're going to do to push you to that. But I think this is going to be a great tool right here to really take hold of that and really listen to what your body is telling us. And we're going to do everything to make sure that you live a long, happy life and a better and healthy life. So we're going to lift your spirits. If you